It was probably the 1978 victory by Nicola that prompted Porsche to have another serious attempt at winning the East African Safari later that year. This cross-country marathon was another event Porsche would dearly have loved to add to its roll of honour. Then, as now, the Safari is reckoned to be the toughest rally in the world. To win it would have been a huge feather in Porsche's Tyrolean hat. Leading the 1978 effort was the tough Swede Bjorn Valdegard, who'd twice won the Monte Carlo rally for the company back in 1969 and 1970.
This is my good friend Ray Schaefer. Ray Schaefer, famous Ray Schaefer, because Ray Schaefer was the general manager of Brumos Porsche before he joined Porsche here in the classic side to it. That dealership, I won't say the number, but sold for $1 bazillion because Ray Schaefer turned that thing around and opened up the collections area. He was the first one to do that and use it as a marketing tool, and he's been doing similar kinds of things here at Porsche. Besides being a good friend, he and I won the Endurance Kart Racing Championship at AMP together. But more importantly, he is a real racer and races all kinds of cars and has done extraordinary things. So you're in the midst of a legend.
Oh my goodness. Oh God. I need to take Jim with me everywhere I go.
What all of us are enthused about in the process is that Porsche has this incredible history in the off-road. And they start with, cars like this Porsche 550 RS, driven by Herbert Ling. And Herbert Ling was a test driver and a racer for Porsche. And this is 1954. This is the La Carrera Panamericana, which was the race in Mexico up the Pan American Highway, which was on-road and a bit of off-road section as well to it. I noticed that it's not there, so this one will go,
there we go.
In here in the 1954. But that same gentleman in 65, if we move down the wall.
Here we are.
Yeah, so they do have this car. That is Herbert Ling again. And Ray, talk a little bit about the drivers who were race drivers but were also test drivers and how they helped the evolution, because that car should have won the Rally Monte Carlo, but Porsche gave his snow tires to a 904 that they thought would do better. He still placed second in class and fifth overall with no snow tires going up over the mountains.
Yeah, no doubt the 911 is an amazing car, but amazing people, like you mentioned, Herbert Ling, who's one of the earliest employees at Porsche. And there's a lot of multitasking that the Swabians are very proud, that they're very efficient people. That's sort of their culture. And there's a lot of double work, multitasking going on in the company. And certainly back then, even Huschke von Hanstein, who was not only the racing director for Porsche at the time in the very beginning, but also the PR director and occasionally one of the drivers. The Brumos 550 is a good example. So a lot of multitasking going on. It still happens today. Mark Lieb, who raced with us at the Brumos, he was the guy that we would get from the factory team for the Brumos car at the 24 Hours of Daytona. He's also an engineer at Porsche, and basically today, now that he's out of racing, he's kind of doing that. But that experience of knowing what a car dynamic should feel like, whether it's on-road, off-road, on track, and being able to translate that into the product, that definitely continues all the way down the line. You can trace that from the beginning, like you said, with Herbert Linga all the way through to guys like Mark Lieb down on the other side of the wall, and everything in between. Walter Rohrl, another great example, both a rally driver and a race car circuit driver. Great success. He also raced with Brumos in the 90s. So very cool history of not only cars, but people.
My name is Kyle Benedict. I drive this 997 C4S Porsche 911. My first Porsche experience was seeing a GT3 when I was autocrossing, and I said, I need to experience that. And here I am.
My name is Ryan Reeves. I drive a 2015 Cayenne turbo diesel. My first introduction to Porsche actually was my dad. I was probably 8 or 9, and my dad got this poster from Porsche in the mail. I mean, it's great marketing. It was a 930 turbo, black, and it's cresting this hill, and all 4 wheels are off the ground. And they put a sticker on the front license plate with our last name, Reeves. And I put that down in our basement. I built RC cars, remote control cars, and other things. And I had that on the wall. And so I'd spend hours and hours and hours of my youth growing up, tinkering with things and staring up at that poster and just someday, getting that Porsche car and then going on these rallies. I mean, these rallies for me are much better than even just being on the track. But there's something about being out just on kind of normal roads, but with people, like-minded people, and that's one of the things that I think was so impactful for me is just the people that you meet that on top of the driving. I mean, you can't beat that.
My name is Austin English, and I drive a 1974 Safari 911. So I have a 991, I've had a 996, I've had a turbo, I've got a Cayenne diesel, all wonderful vehicles. I never really thought about Safari as much as I've seen on TV with the Dakar Paris and East Africa, things like that. I said, man, that would kind of be neat to do that.
Could you describe the feeling that you have when you drive that Safari car?
It's an absolute riot. You almost feel like you're 5 with your little Hot Wheels going around the dirt, you know, and can I kick it out here? You know, let's do a flick, and sure enough, man, it's so responsive, it's so tail happy, it's just wonderful, yeah. Absolute smile to my face.
for the such as safari, I did have a unique situation where I was driving the Cayenne on that terrain for the first time, but I also had the car loaded with a media team. So I knew sort of the responsibility that I had, but I do have to say when I got the chance to drive by myself, I was able to drive a little bit more freely maybe than I did when I had the team with me, so. I've had the rare opportunity to be the sheet tosser on rallies driving Porsches. Being the sheet tosser gives me the opportunity or have the background to already know how to read the GPS, how to grade the turns. I understand kind of the ramifications of what needs to happen in preparation from one turn to the next. So once I move over to the driving seat, I already have that information sort of running in the background, and then I'm able to sort of layer onto that the driving experience.
Like Ray was saying, it's not just about the machines, it's also the people and the places we engage with. In our case, on this 2022 such as safari event, we really are fortunate to have a grouping of passionate punters who both take and make opportunity with heavy right foot applied to their Porsches, diving them into overlanding floggery where 99% of the populace seldom wanders.